Hi, thanks for tuning in. Welcome back to another episode of Chatting in My Closet. For those of you who might be tuning in for the first time, this is an ongoing series on my channel where we have an open discussion, open dialogue on a particular topic. A lot of times they will be fashion related because luxe fashion is kind of what we're all into. but it is meant to be really a judgment-free, open dialogue. I share some of my personal perspectives and my approach or my thoughts on that topic. And then I really open up the discussion to you guys and really intend to continue it in the description, not in the description, in the comments down below. So definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments. You might agree, disagree, have a different perspective. I'd love to hear your thoughts on every single topic. So as you can see, grab your drink. This is, I don't know if you can see the cute mug today. This is some tea. It's been quite dreary, rainy, and cold this whole week here, so I'm a little extra cozy with my hoodie and my tea. But grab your drink. Imagine we're just having a chat, a sleepover, chat at a cafe. I wish we were in a cafe. And just talking about our own thoughts on this particular topic. Today's topic is actually about luxury dupes, and what kind of role they might play in our closet, what kind of role they play in the world of luxury, and things like that. So let's get started. So luxury dupes, they're quite, I feel like, an interesting thing. And somewhat of an inevitable thing, I feel. And I'm not going to be like snitty and be like, oh my God, no, like no one should ever touch luxury dupes. Like that's so unclassy, because that's not realistic either. But I do want to share like my philosophy, my perspective and approach when it comes to luxury dupes. And feel free to let me know your thoughts on how you like to approach this as well. I'd love to know. But for me personally, I don't like to get dupes that are really trying to be the real thing. I guess you can also call those like fakes, right? So, like it's like a fake Chanel classic flap or fake Louis Vuitton Speedy or something, right? I'm personally really not a proponent of getting items that I know are really trying to be the real thing, but they aren't. And it's just not something that I've ever really been interested in doing. I much rather prefer having, I might have fewer things, but I'd rather have the actual item more because I'm into luxury because I like the design, I like the heritage, I like the fashion house, and I want to have a piece of some of that history, if you will. So having something that emulates it but isn't quite it doesn't fulfill my purposes and what I want when I'm getting these pieces. And I also feel like nowadays, especially with a lot of the resale platforms, it's a lot easier to access some of the real authentic pieces at much more attainable prices. And that's kind of why I'd much rather not go down that path. But that's just me and my philosophy. It reminds me, I have a friend who, this was like years ago, and this was really early on when I started to build out my collection, so I didn't have a lot of luxury things. I might not have even really owned much at that time, but we had just started working, and I was catching up with her, and I saw that she had like a new bag, and I was like, I noticed it. I don't really like talk about a lot of those things unless I know someone's really into talking about the details. But then she mentioned that she would like take me to the places that she's been getting them from, and I was like, oh, like is it like a those like multi-brand boutiques and things like that? And she was like, oh no, this person sells like really, really good, like AAA plus, like fakes. And I was like, okay. This was also in Korea. And I don't know who this person is or anything like that, but it was like, I was really I wasn't expecting that, I guess, so I was really surprised. And then I was also really curious. I was curious what the experience would be like. So I actually followed her to meet this person who sells these like really high quality fakes. And I remember just browsing, and I was like processing a lot of this, and for me, I was thinking, I don't know. I think that's the moment when I realized, like, I'd much rather not do this. That's not my preferred approach. That's not really what I would want to do. That's when I was realizing, I think I like these things for different reasons. That memory is like in my mind is like that moment when I went, oh, okay. Like, I know there are ways to attain some of these things. There are different ways. You know, some people choose to go down that path, and I was like, oh, this is very interesting. It was a great experience to see how people acquire them. But anyway, I don't really think there's like a right or wrong answer. I think it's just a difference in preference. And, you know, there's one way is not better or worse, or, you know, doesn't even really reflect that much on the person themselves, because it just means it's a different approach. And I think that's totally fine. But I feel like when it comes to luxury dupes, the other question that comes up is, you know, does it devalue the actual real deal? The real, you know, do the dupes devalue luxury? And I don't really think so. To a certain degree, dupes exist in every sort of industry that involves, or every facet that involves design. There's like the IKEAs when it comes to furniture design. All those designs are pretty much either existing pieces or, you know, very similar or inspired by, that's the word they like to use, right? Inspired by more high-end or luxury furniture brands. You know, there are other sites, of course, not to like bash on IKEA, but a lot of those are. But as I started to get interested in furniture and things like that, and when I started to get interested in design in general, I think is when I started to notice that, in almost any industry that involves the facet of design, there is that kind of flow down, if you will, where the innovation may happen at a higher price point, at a much more luxurious brand, and then it eventually kind of trickles down, right? If there's the IKEA for the furniture world, there's like the Zaras, the H&Ms, the fast fashion brands for fashion. It exists in the makeup world as well, like the very similar styles, similar colorways, or similar types of products that eventually come out in more of like the drugstore makeup brands, stuff like that. So it exists everywhere, right? Like, it's not exclusive to just luxury fashion. In a way, I feel like it's almost like a token of how relevant that design is, how relevant that brand is, that there are other brands that want to emulate, inspire, or be able to share some aspect of that design with a broader group of people. So I don't think it's all bad. Like, I don't think it's, you know, 100% of like, oh my God, they're just trying to rip off someone else's design and make money off of it. But I can understand from like a designer's perspective that they feel like it's very difficult for them, right? It is their creation, it is their design, and then to see it kind of get interpreted in different ways, or, you know, get kind of stolen in a way. It can have a very high impact on them. So I can imagine that frustration, but I don't think luxury dupes themselves actually devalue the real thing. So is there really a place in our wardrobes and in our lives for luxury dupes? And I think there is. I think I have consciously tried to reduce my consumption of dupes or fast fashion in general this year. It doesn't mean I'm at level 0, like no consumption at all. I have made some purchases here and there, but It's notably less than I did last year and the year before, and definitely less than I have, 5 years ago me. I think there are some good cases, good kind of use cases for leveraging luxury dupes that often come out through fast fashion. I think luxury dupes are really great for trying out trends that you're not quite sure will be suitable for you, or trying out pieces that you're not quite sure will work for you. So they might not necessarily be trendy pieces, but they might be more classic silhouettes or classic styles, but you're not quite sure if you can really incorporate that well, or if you'd really use them that much to get the cost per wear down where it's really worth investing in a luxury piece. For me personally, I try to restrict my here's the other thing. I am going to lean a little bit on my philosophy of how I purchase fast fashion, which I know this particular episode isn't exactly about fast fashion. But it's because I don't go shopping specifically for dupes. I don't see like the Bottega Veneta, the dumpling clutch when that was really popular. Like I don't see that and then go on Zara and try to find something that's similar. That's not the way that I typically shop anyway. But I think I do have instances where I've purchased pieces knowing that they're either trendier, knowing that they sort of emulate a luxury style that I want to try out. So those are the examples I want to share in case it helps you also sort of reframe how you engage with fast fashion and how you engage with some of these dupes. So one of the examples I want to share are these Zara mules, right? And you'll see almost straight off the bat that they are very similar to, at least in my eyes, they looked very similar to the Manolo Blahnik Maysail mules, right? Of course, this front bit isn't quite the same. There's no buckle part of it. The silhouette is very, very similar. And this front part actually is more reminiscent of Chanel. So it's kind of like if Chanel and Manolo Blahnik had a baby, like this is kind of the mule, the heeled mule that would come out of it. And these were like, I want to say these were like $40. They weren't even very expensive. And I knew, I could tell where the resemblance was coming from. I could tell where the inspiration was coming from. And yet I still decided to purchase these because I was thinking at the time about purchasing the Manolo Blahnik mules. I wasn't quite sure how I would get along with that style, and I wasn't quite sure like whether they would be comfortable is not the right word because every shoe brand can feel a little bit comfortable differently. But whether the style would suit me, like whether I'd feel comfortable walking in that style or, how I would be able to incorporate it with other pieces in my wardrobe, things like that. So that's why I went ahead and I purchased these. And it turned out to be a great purchase because I realized how much I don't like the flippity-flopness of the mule in the back. I don't mind it so much in a sandal form when it's flat, like flip-flops themselves, because they're pretty flat. The flippity-flopness is pretty, for me, it's still comfortable to walk in. When I tried it in this mule style, like this heeled mule style, the flippity-flopness was really getting on my nerves. Like, because this is taller, my foot is slightly elevated, there isn't as much space for this to flop, but it will still flop. And I was finding it really difficult to walk on the streets of New York City with these on. And because of that, I spent $40 on this style. I still have it in my wardrobe because I plan to wear it for styling purposes. I still like the silhouette, and I still think this style looks good with certain types of pants that I wear. So I still think it's great to keep in my wardrobe. But I've effectively saved money on getting the actual Manolo Blahnik pair because I know I would not get along with this kind of mule style. So I hope that gives a good idea of how dupes can actually help you figure out if it's worth investing in some of the more luxury styles or not. Another I can think of is like for trendier pieces. So last summer, last summer, last fall. I think last fall was when I started to notice a lot more leather pieces being a major trend. It did continue a bit into this year, and leather pieces are quite expensive, and I'm never sure how leather pieces will fall on my body. I think it can be very flattering, of course, if you find the right silhouette, but I also feel like because the material itself is not quite as forgiving, I feel like it could make me look a lot bigger than I actually am. So I was pretty hesitant on actually purchasing a leather piece, or even if it's faux leather, purchasing a high-end piece, because I wasn't sure how it would work on my body. So again, last year, I think when I purchased those mules, I got these sort of jogger looking pants that are faux leather. Still have those in my wardrobe, and I still like wearing them here and there, but I'm realizing like I'm not able to incorporate that into my wardrobe as best as I thought. It's those moments when I'm slightly hesitant to try out a trend or a new piece, and I'm like not quite sure how much I'll wear it, not quite sure how it'll work for me. That's when I usually then look at the fast fashion brands to see if there's something that I feel like is worth a try for. It's like a way, it's an interpretation of that trend that I feel like will translate better for me, and then I would buy it to try it out and see if it's really worth it. And that's another one where I feel like I save money because at the time I was trying a lot of tops on as well, and I realized like I cannot go the tops route. All of them end up making me look a lot larger than I actually am. And it's the sheer fact of the material, right? It's like how kind of relatively thick the material needs to be. Even if you get it oversized and you try to bunch it up, how it bunches is very bulky. And that just doesn't work for the upper half of my body. But I realized, okay, I can incorporate some of those pieces as bottoms, as pants or skirts or things like that, and then, have a slightly different texture running through my outfit. And I like it for those purposes. So I'm really happy with the piece that I got. I don't feel like it satisfied that kind of craving or that urge or that curiosity, but I didn't end up spending like hundreds of dollars trying out that kind of trend. One other sort of use case that I think is really helpful for some of these luxury dupes is when you like a certain style, you might even like a certain brand, but you're not able to find a piece that you think will actually suit your body. What I sometimes actually appreciate about some of these brands that get inspired by other brands is that they'll take the elements that they feel like are pretty trendy from those brands, and they'll sometimes combine them together, or they'll take those elements and they'll kind of put it into a lot of different pieces of clothing styles so that you can find one. It might be easier for you to find a style that better suits your body. So for example, I haven't made a Zara purchase in a really long time. I'm talking about like probably 8 months. And I actually recently made a purchase, and this was one of the items that I made as part of that purchase. And it's a little, kind of like a sweater dress. It's a mini dress, and it has these adorable, how do you say, crystal buttons, right? And to me, this looks very Alessandra Rich, and I really like the brand. I really like the oversized embellishments, the really large crystal buttons on a lot of the blazers, on a lot of the dresses and things like that. I really, really like that style. Some brands, I struggle to actually find a size that I feel like will fit for me. And I can either try the very largest size, but I feel like it won't be as comfortable for my body shape. I'd much rather have a size or two above, the largest one that they offer, or, all the sizes are sold out or whatever. That's the case for me with Alessandra Rich. I've been looking since last year because I like the pieces from that brand, but I've been struggling to find silhouettes that I feel like would work for me. For me, the most iconic component of Alessandra Rich are those crystal embellished buttons. And this year, when I saw that Zara kind of picked up on that, I saw that they were putting that on a lot of different styles. One of them being this kind of a dress, right? And because it's not, I mean, I even tried out a cardigan style, but it didn't work for me. Even though it was really cute on the website, it just did not translate for me. It's like I appreciate that I'm able to try, like, to have an element of a brand that I like, that is in a form that I can actually wear, is in a form that's better suited for my body type. I hope that makes sense. But it's like you're able to get the trend, or you're able to get some aspects of that trend in a format that works better for you than the original brand is actually offering. And like, I find that because I'm not model size, because I'm not a very small person, I feel like a lot of times some of these brands like Self Portrait and Alessandra Rich, some of these brands, the sizing is a little bit too small for me. It's just, I will fit. I think if I tried it, like, I would fit. It would just be really uncomfortable, and it wouldn't be the kind of fit that you would need for the actual outfit to look good. That's why I don't have any pieces from those brands, because I've been struggling to find that size. Because of that, I feel like the brands that offer dupes or styles that are heavily inspired by or influenced by these other brands can sometimes be a good option for you to be able to incorporate it, because it makes it more suitable for you. So I hope those use cases make sense. At least those are the real, at least that's the kind of approach that I like to take when I am choosing to purchase from fast fashion brands. It's more about the different elements that I want to try out and test with the rest of my wardrobe, or having some of the elements in my wardrobe in a better way that suits me. At the end of the day, I wanted to share that in hopes that it's actually helpful for you, and maybe it refocuses how you really look at fast fashion, or how you engage with it, how much you consume, and maybe, at least for me, I feel like it's made me a lot more intentional about the pieces that I get. I don't want to just, I'm not like getting, 500 pieces because I can get 500 for the price of one luxury piece. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it has definitely, for me, it's helped me become a lot more intentional, be a lot more focused. So I don't think luxury dupes are like inherently bad. I don't think they're innately, they have this like evil purpose, and that, they're a bad thing. I do think that dupes may encourage some additional consumption, maybe even higher levels of consumption, because a lot of the pieces are at lower price points. I don't want to engage that way, because I feel like it's a bit too wasteful. If I do have an event to go to, I try to leverage the pieces that are already in my closet. But sometimes if there is like a theme or something like that, like, there will be situations where you might have to add a piece, and you'd rather not spend like $5 million for this one event, you know what I mean? When I met my boyfriend, he's not a huge fan of fast fashion brands, but I am proud to say that I did like break his expectation on how I consume fast fashion, or how I engage, basically how I choose the pieces that I will actually purchase. I made this comment once that I wanted to stop by the Zara, and I was like, I know you don't like going in there, but like, I just want to like check a few things out. And he made a comment. He was like, no, actually, I see how you like buy stuff, and I see how you actually like have those things for a long time. So I know that you're not just buying it to use like once or twice and get rid of. And that's true. I have Zara pieces that are years old. Which sometimes I feel bad, because people are asking me where it's from, and I'm like, oh, it's from Zara, but it's like 3 years old, sorry. But that's because I will choose those pieces that I know I can wear for a long time. So I don't know, I want to engage with it the same energy that I have for getting and acquiring the more luxury pieces as well. Oh my gosh, I feel like I just babbled on for so long. So I'll try to like wrap up this whole episode now, but basically, like, I think it would be wonderful if we could all have closets that are just filled with luxury, ready-to-wear, designer pieces, high quality, luxury pieces. But that's not the reality. That absolutely is not the reality. So I think there is a place for luxury dupes in all of our closets, all of our wardrobes, but I I think if we can all be very thoughtful about the pieces that we do get, so that we don't encourage too much consumption and perhaps too much waste, because some styles might not work out, and you know what I mean? I think if we're all just thoughtful about it, if we're all just mindful about how we add those pieces, then it can be a helpful, it would be better. It would be better for the world. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like luxury dupes, if that's 100% the way you like to go, or that's the majority of pieces that you like to add to your collection, or if you feel like there's more harm done through luxury dupes, maybe there's an angle that I'm missing, or some information that I don't have. But I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. We'll definitely continue this conversation. I respond to everyone's comments, especially for the Chatting in My Closet episodes, because that's the whole point, is to have conversation. So please let me know your thoughts, and also feel free to respond to others in the comments. It's meant to be an open discussion across everybody who tunes in, everybody who writes a comment. So feel free to kind of keep the conversation going in the comment section. Before I forget though, I have a very important announcement to make, because this is the follow-up Chatting in My Closet episode to the last one, and I actually had like a birthday giveaway in that one, because October is my birthday month. Before I forget, I wanted to announce the winners of that giveaway. There were actually 2 winners in that giveaway. So the first winner of the hat clip, I happen to have that here. So this is the beautiful hat clip, and this is the winner for this piece is S Doe. Your IG user is this little porker. Congratulations. And then the winner of the Tom Dixon wine glasses is Ashley Lee. So congratulations to the both of you. Thank you for leaving your comments and your thoughts on the last Chatting in My Closet video. I just really love it when people respond that way. So thank you very much. I hope to have more giveaways in the future, of course, so please stay tuned for those. I'm going to do my best to facilitate as many as I can. But I hope you enjoyed this episode of Chatting in My Closet. As always, if you have any questions, if you have any suggestions for future Chatting in My Closet episodes, feel free to leave those down below, or head on over to Instagram and I'd be happy to help however I can. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate all of your feedback and support. If you like this kind of content and you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I post new fashion related videos every Sunday and Wednesday. So until next time, bye!